our guy Derrick Nnadi coming back to fill in the a need that some people say that we had a need as kind of having that plugger in the middle and bringing Derrick Nnadi back. Obviously, 3-time Super Bowl champ with the Chiefs, so he has the veteran presence. He knows Spags' system. What do you make of it? A lot of Chiefs Kingdom was kind of split on it. Some people were happy to have a guy who's a veteran back. Some people just said they would have preferred just to go with a younger guy, just to kind of develop someone new and fresh. What are your takes on the pros and cons on bringing back Derrick Nnadi to the room?
I mean, I'm sure people are split on it. I'm a little kind of on the fence with it too, and I'm just being completely transparent. I think Derrick Nnadi did a good job when he was here, but I think what we were looking for was somebody else that was going to be able to come and move the needle, and I think it was one of the reasons they released him to begin with. But look, he's a guy that we know, the Super Bowl champ. Derrick Nnadi has been nothing but a consummate pro when he's been here, and I know, and maybe because he was hurt also too. He was a little banged up, which is man, it's devastating for a defensive tackle, especially when you got to push and all those things. So what was he dealing with? Was it what injury did he have? He had somebody I think it was his bicep, or was it tricep or something that he was dealing with? So I just know that, what it was, the injury in itself, if I don't remember, I knew it was kind of be hard as far as like disengaging and pushing and coming off. So he had somewhat a hard time. But, this could be another thing, bringing him back where he left the Chiefs, going somewhere, green pastures somewhere else. Maybe comes in, man, it gives us something. We know we our defensive tackles, Norman Lott got hurt. He's a little banged up, as a rookie. So they're still trying to get him worked into the rotation. How is he going to be involved with this? That position at defensive tackle is going to be kind of a question for us. We know Chris Jones is going to be there for sure. Mike Pennell, no doubt about it. Jerry Tillery, I think, is another guy that's going to be able to make it. I think Lovett has a good chance to do and come in and give us something as well. So I'll get into that position group, a little bit later. But I think Derrick Nnadi, what he brings is somebody who's familiar with obviously the scheme that we run, knows what to do when asked of it. And we need somebody. He's a powerful force to hold two guys. I'll tell you, that's one thing Derrick Nnadi did was, and I'm gonna give him that credit, is because he would actually hold two guys up. All right. And I think what I wanted from Derrick Nnadi was always like, man, get a little bit more of that penetration. I want you to push the guys in the backfield. But what he did a solid job to let the linebackers flow. And I told you, any great defense starts with the defensive line. You got to have a great defensive line to win games and win championships. And so we got guys that do a good job. So we just had to see where Derrick Nnadi is going to fall in this whole thing, man. Hopefully he does an amazing job like he was a couple of years ago. Before he got the injury.
You're right. It was January 2024 triceps injury.
Triceps. Okay, that's what I thought. I knew it was something like either bicep or tricep, because I was just like, dang, God, that's hard for a defensive tackle. I know he was probably wincing every time he like trying to push. It's almost ineffective at that point. You're just using your legs at that time. Now that's it. That's all you got is pretty much your legs. You can't really lock out like you want to. So,
yeah, it was during the wild card game against the Dolphins during that frozen tundra game.
Okay.
But then, yes, a history of his. It's interesting, right? When you think of D line, you don't really think about the arm usage, right? But I mean, that's a huge part of it, right? 2018, he had an elbow injury, and then 2024, the triceps. So that, I mean, all in the same mechanism, right?
Yeah. Push pull, but that's, I mean, shoot, all of that you need a D line, shoot, especially defensive tackle. If you're taking two guys, it's going to be a hard one. So,
yeah, and I guess because one thing you kind of hit on it a little bit, talk about Derrick Nnadi, bringing him back, and it seems like the Chiefs, when in doubt, they'll bring back guys, right? And Mecole Hardman, right? He didn't do anything with the Jets. We bring him back. He makes huge plays, the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, right? But I guess people undersell the familiarity aspect of a guy, right? And right, we could say, develop a young guy, right? But we have Omar Norman Lott. we have some young guys in that room, right? Jared Taylor's new to the system, so and he's not old by any means. But like I think people undersell the familiarity aspect of a system. And I know I've seen people say, "We need familiarity. It's a defensive tackle. There's no all you're doing is attacking." I mean, there's nothing there's nothing you have to really learn with that. But I mean, I think people just undersell the familiarity aspect that teams have in general with players, but especially the Chiefs. And we've seen, Pennell's a good example of that. Left, came back, right? Hardman, and we're talking about Nnadi, and it's just that's something that I think a lot of people just kind of undersell a little bit. And I've seen that a lot over the last few days since we traded for Nnadi again.
Well, I think it's I always talk about just relationships, okay, and how important it is, especially as far as like the team aspect that you have to have with the guy for him to trust you, you trust him, but familiarity is something that is absolutely vital, especially somebody like, well, look, I know his weaknesses, I know his strengths. I don't have to learn a new guy, coming in, like, what is he really, we don't know his attitude, what he's going to give you. Derrick Nnadi provides all of that for us because we already got the answers to it. We know what he's about, right? And so it's very important, especially in I would say probably the last team sport, that you have to have these relationships established. And so, I think Coach Cornell was talking about it. He was talking about you build this relationship with guys so they could come out there and come play for you. And when you have a guy that has been here before, like you said, McCole Hardman and Derrick Nnadi come back, plug and play. You already know it. Hey, Derrick, you know what it is. We're giving the call. Derrick's like, yeah, I got it. Sure. I know, and he might, some of the young guys, right? Like a Norman Lott is still trying to figure it out or what to do. So that's why you bring in a guy like this, a veteran presence, as opposed to a Norman Lott. Now, okay, I'm going to say this too. All right. Now, we'll get into this a little bit more on the show. But I had to push back a little bit. And I said this on the Kingdom Cast a little bit about Norman Lott. And everybody was sitting there saying, well, Norman Lott is, he's a pass rusher. We don't need to bring him. Why are they putting extra weight on him to, get him to do a little bit, something different? And I'm just like, that's what you employ a guy to do. That's what a defensive tackle does. We're not just looking for a defensive tackle to come in on passing downs. He's got to do it all. Yeah, you didn't get to do it at Tennessee. They didn't figure it out as far as and there was a lot of guys rotating on the defensive line. And whatever their scheme was, they didn't want to use him. Well, you come here with the Chiefs, Spags are going to use you. Joe Cullen, he's going to use you because they see the potential that you got. So even if he puts on weight, they see he's a strong guy. He's got great hands. He got great quickness. So let him learn the things he needs to learn right now, the nuances of the position, so he can be effective later. And it'll come at some point, right? The light bulb will come on at some point. Give him time. It's the same thing with King Suma. We had to give him time to learn what he needs to do at this position. And it was the same thing talking about, King Felix, right? Oh, he's a bust, this and that. He was always a speed rusher. Go and look at his film. And you watch what he did at Kansas State. Go watch what he did. He wasn't just rushing the passes, being a speed rusher. He did that, but he also stopped the run. And he was very effective. So we've seen the potential. And sometimes that's what you got to go on is the potential of a guy to say, I can see you growing into something even more than this. Another example I can give you, Najee Johnson. Najee Johnson playing safety in college, right? He's got a lot of speed, very athletic. Put him at corner, does a pretty decent job, okay? Sometimes he had to still, figure out his feed, time, and all those different things. But you can see the progress and the growth that he has. Even to this year, he's like, okay, he's a different guy than he was last year. He's learned it. And so it's part of that development. And what I love about it is Spags and those guys don't give up on guys that easy. Okay. Oh, well, why was Scott here this long and why is Peter this? Because they see the potential in him. Somebody, well, we could have had Pickens. Well, Pickens, he ain't won a championship yet. He might catch 70 balls and it looks dynamic catching the ball, but he could be a headache too. the maturity level wasn't there what we needed. Yeah, we didn't need that type of guy on the team. You could imagine him and I ain't gonna do that. I was gonna say something. I ain't gonna do that though. But that attitude wasn't gonna work here, for any of those guys. They got the guy that they wanted, and that's fine. Guess what? We won Super Bowls with the guys that we got here. Okay, good guys on the field and off the field. I think I made I made a statement talking about Ashton Gelati. I said we got quality guys, not just guys, but also players. That's what the Chiefs covet. That's what teams need. Championship teams need quality guys. Keep those guys together. And not saying other teams are not trying to do it, but they do things a different way. That's just reality. And guess what? It's been working for us. It has been working. We've been winning championships. We've been going to the championship game, getting Lombardis, So hey man, keep doing what they're doing. Get the guys in here that is going to work hard. Is going to put on their hard hat and lunch pail, and they're going to go at it. So as long as they're doing that, we're going to be fine. You could go get talent, but like Coach Cornell said, talent don't always win you games. It doesn't. Cohesiveness and team play is what does it. So we can never forget that. I know we look at the individual, and you want individual play to stand out, but so sometimes that can be detrimental to the things you want to do. So,
and I also to add to what you're saying, it's like the people who were like mad about this Derrick Nnadi trade. It's like we traded a 7th round pick, right? And so it's like your 6th round pick, whatever it was, but like. He's not going to be starting, right? And people are acting like, oh, we're getting Nnadi back. He's going to start for us. Like, no, he's going to rotate. And it's a guy, and he's going to rotate with us, but like he's not starting. And people are acting like he's going to be the guy opposite next to Chris Jones. No, maybe for a game or two he might be, but like for the most part, this guy's going to be rotating in with these guys and keeping our guys fresh. And it's better to do that with a guy we know rather than some unknown who was unproven during preseason this year. Because obviously the team felt that what they saw from the defensive tackles during preseason was enough for them to be like, you know what, let's go get Derrick Nnadi, because what we saw this preseason wasn't enough for some of these guys that they may have hoped that could have been it. But obviously, I trust their coaching staff. I trust Joe Cole. I trust Spags. And if they feel that Derrick Nnadi is going to raise the level of play in that defensive tackle room, then I trust it 100% then.
Yeah. Shoot, the devil you know, baby. Shoot, devil you know. And we know what we're going to get out of him. So, it's going to be effort. And then, shoot, he probably happy we rescued him from over the Jets. He's like, woo, man, I'm glad y'all called me. I'll get up out of here. And look, I'm going to be honest. I think the Jets are going to do a great job. I like Aaron Glenn, played against him. That joker is something else. But I like him a lot. I think they're going to be a very good team. Look, and I'll even say this. I kid you not, man. They have a legit shot of winning their division.
The Jets have a legit shot of winning the. Interesting. That's a take there.
Yep, it's a take right there. They're going to be right there.
What's your ultimate X factor? Just having Glenn a new voice there.
Yes, and talent. They got talent all over the place. They're a very talented team. If they can unlock Justin Fields, I'm telling you, man, that he is a weapon. He's a guy. If I'm an owner, or a guy, the GM, I'm taking a chance. I'm like, look, bring this guy in. Hey, man, we're gonna let you develop. We're gonna let you do it. And sometimes that route that he takes to get to where he is now was probably necessary. It was needed. You get up in Chicago, you ain't really surrounded by guys that get you running around doing what you have to do. Now you got a little bit more help. You got receivers, you got a running back, you got an all-line, you got a good defense. So they legit this year. And I'm watching, I'm like, okay. And Aaron Glenn coaching them too, he gonna get them right. Trust me. He's bringing all of that. Look, Detroit, Aaron Glenn was like that type of dude before he got to Detroit coaching and whatnot, man. So I'm a huge fan of Aaron Glenn, huge fan. So sometimes you need the right guy. I think that sometimes you need the right guy. So I think he's the right one. I like saying, I think I just, but go ahead.
You know, I say that week 1 game, the NFL schedule makers really did themselves in with Jets in Pittsburgh, and obviously Rodgers coming playing against the Jets, Fields playing against the Steelers, and then just the Rodgers, Aaron Glenn kind of drama that happened this offseason, right? Where they made him come in to tell him they were gonna get rid of him. They didn't want to bring him back. I mean, there's definitely some bad blood between the two there, between Rodgers and Aaron Glenn. So that'll be a very interesting, dramatic game.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers brings drama with him everywhere he goes. You know, God love him. So, look, Jazzy Jeff, JD, I respect his speech on Sky more, but the poor kid couldn't catch a cold in Alaska if he was butt naked and soaking wet. That is just not true. It's funny. It's not true, Jeff. Okay. Hopefully he's got a new lease on his career out there in San Fran. He caught a couple balls out there, and they threw him and thrusted him into the punt return. So I'm pulling for him. I hope he does. I hope he comes, and I'm talking about blow the doors off everybody. I want to see him. I want to see him do it, man. So
he did drop his first pass during that game on whatever Saturday, and that was something that made all over Twitter, Chief fans, 49er fans, everyone was kind of continuing to pick up the kid, but he had a pretty good game in the end after he had 3 catches.
Hey man, it's like, hey man, shake yourself off. It's all right. We're gonna keep throwing it to you. Sometimes you got to do that. We're gonna keep throwing it to you. So we're gonna do it.
Quite frankly, to put it in real people's terms, the guy literally just got there on Wednesday, and he's playing the game on Saturday, learning a whole new system. It's like, imagine, if somebody gets a new office job, right? Like you're for 2 weeks, you're training with someone before they actually let you off on your own. They literally let this guy off on his own 2 days after getting signed or being traded to the 49ers and having to learn his playbook. So like, we talk about thinking before you actually do. I mean, and like I'm sure his mind was just going a million miles an hour because all these plays he just learned, and he had to go out there on Saturday and run an offense where he just got there. So like, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to do. And I think people just undersell, like, just catch a ball. Well, dude, he's thinking about a million different things: where to line up, what route am I running, what the hell am I doing? I mean, it's just a line. I think it's just unfair for people that's dog players who just get traded and have to play in the game 2 days later.
Hey man. Look, he'll survive out there. He'll do what he needs to do. So, like I said, man, we're pushing for it. I mean, people gonna dog regardless. I mean, that's just part of it, right? That's just some folks. That's some folks. So, I don't listen to them jokers, man. Somebody gonna always have something. What's that?
Yeah.
Chocolate Star Kiss. There it is. Had to get it out.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.